I never thought a grocery store would become the scariest place in my life, not after working there for 3 decades. But that's the thing about life. It doesn't need monsters or ghosts to turn into a nightmare. Sometimes people are enough. I've spent 32 years working at Oak Ridge Market, a big chain store in Portwell, Illinois. When I joined, self-checkout wasn't even an idea. Back then, everything was simple. You talked to customers, bagged groceries, smiled, joked around. People actually liked human contact. Now I'm 58. My knees hurt. My back hurts. And I'm too old to run around the store managing departments, handling sales targets, dealing with corporate emails. So they shifted me to self-checkout monitoring, which is just a fancy way of saying, stand here for hours and watch people try to steal. That part broke me the most. I'm not a cop. I never signed up to be security. But these days my job is half customer service, half watchdog. Every beep that doesn't sound, every item that doesn't get weighed right, every glance over the shoulder, I'm supposed to catch everything. And people hate us for it. I've been called nosy, creep, spy, snitch, asshole, old bastard, you name it. And I'm not even doing anything except trying to protect my job in the store. But nothing compares to Black Friday. It's a war zone. Fights over TVs. Parents screaming at kids, people camping outside since 4 a.m. Everyone desperate, everyone angry. Last Black Friday changed my life. 2 Black Fridays earlier, a teenage boy shoved a cashier trying to stop him from running out with stolen video games. That cashier, Trevor, broke his arm in 3 places and ended up quitting. He was 23. Corporate didn't care. They only reminded us of Policy 14B. Zero tolerance loss prevention, meaning if we see something suspicious and don't act, we get blamed. So yeah, I was cautious, too cautious maybe, and that's what led to the night I still can't forget. Store opened 5 a.m. By 5:01, chaos started. People pushing carts like bumper cars, customers yelling, "Yo, they taken the last air fryer, where the hell's the rest?" Some lady threatened to beat up another woman over a discounted microwave, and I just stood at self-checkout like I always do. Quiet, invisible, tired. Around 6:45 a.m., a customer approached me, tall, well-spoken, about my age. "Man, you folks should get hazard pay for this shit," he laughed. I smiled. I'd settle for a 15-minute break. He chuckled and kept scanning. Little moments like that keep you going. But then she came. The woman who turned Black Friday into a nightmare. She pushed a cart piled so high it looked like a moving mountain. Frozen turkeys, cereal boxes, packs of soda, baby formula, razors, laundry detergent. Things people need, not luxury stuff. Her clothes were dirty. Her hair was matted. Her eyes were red like she hadn't slept in days. But the thing that bothered me wasn't that. It was her smile, wide, forced, creepy, like she practiced it in a mirror and didn't get it right. "Morning," she said, voice too cheerful. "Morning," I replied, forcing a smile back. She chose the closest self-checkout to me, almost too close, and every few seconds she'd peek at me over her shoulder like checking if I was paying attention, or making sure I wasn't. I didn't stare. I didn't hover. I know that can make things worse, so I pretended to be busy watching other screens. But then the red flags started. She scanned items slow, painfully slow, like 10 seconds between each one. And the line behind her grew longer and angrier. Someone muttered, "Jesus, lady, you buying the whole damn store?" Another snapped, "If you don't know how to use the machine, go to a register." She ignored everyone. At one point, she whispered to herself loud enough for me to hear, "Just stay calm, just get through this, don't screw up." Then she looked at me again, eyes wide, like checking if I heard her. My gut twisted. I approached politely. "Ma'am, if you need—" She snapped before I finished. Don't you fucking come near me. This is self-checkout, I can handle it." Her shout echoed. People stared. My face burned with embarrassment. "I'm just here to help," I said quietly. "Help yourself by backing the fuck off," she snarled. I stepped back, not because I was scared, but because I've learned something working this job. Some people are bombs. Talking is the fuse. But after that moment, I stopped pretending not to watch. She must have thought I was stupid, because out of her 100 items, she scanned maybe 20 or 25. Then she tapped pay $74.21, inserted her card, grabbed her receipt, and pushed her cart toward the exit. My heart dropped. Corporate policy screamed in my head. I moved in front of her cart. "Ma'am, I need to check your receipt." She froze. "You think I'm stealing?" she hissed. "No, I think you might have missed some items. It happens a lot." "Move," she growled. "Please don't make this harder," I said. "Just show me the receipt and you can go." She leaned close enough that I could smell stale sweat and cigarette smoke. "You don't know shit about what I need to do to survive." Then she rammed the card into me. My body slammed against the floor hard. Pain shot up my spine. Before I could stand, she shoved the cart over me, wheels crushing my ribs, and stepped on my hand while running. I screamed. People laughed, not because they were evil, just because today everything is chaos and sometimes your brain registers danger as entertainment. It took security too long to react. But they caught her before she reached the doors. She fought like an animal, kicking, biting, screaming. "I have kids, I got evicted, I need food, you all have shelter, I don't." Even while they cuffed her, she shrieked at me, "This is your fault, you could have let me feed my family." I couldn't move. I just stayed on the floor, hands shaking, breath shallow, tears burning my eyes. And not because of pain, because I didn't know if I did the right thing. Aftermath. When the police left, a paramedic helped me sit up. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded, but I wasn't. The store manager came over. "You did what you were supposed to do," he said. "Corporate will back you." I didn't answer, because I didn't believe it. I went home that night and cried in my car in the driveway. Not because I was weak, but because for the first time in 32 years I felt ashamed of my job. Someone tried to survive, I tried to enforce rules. Someone was desperate. I was dutiful. Someone lost everything. I was protecting shelves of merchandise. Maybe she was lying. Maybe she was just greedy. Maybe she was dangerous. But maybe she really did just want to feed her kids. That's what keeps me awake. Corporate gave me an award for quick loss prevention response. I never hung it on the wall. It's still in the trunk of my car under an old blanket with blood stains from that day. I still work self-checkout. But now, every time I see someone scanning slowly, every time someone looks over their shoulder, every time someone has too many groceries and not enough hope in their eyes, I freeze. Because I'm terrified, not of being attacked, but of having to choose again between rules and humanity. Black Friday comes again next month, and I'm praying I get sick that day. Not because I'm lazy, not because I hate my job, because I don't want to learn what I'm capable of becoming. If the next desperate stranger pushes me to make a choice again. I never thought Black Friday could be the night that would change everything I believed about people and about myself. Till that year, for me, Black Friday was just about deals, long lines, and a painful crowd. But now it's about something I can never forget, no matter how many times I tell myself it wasn't my fault. It started 2 years ago. I was 34, working night shifts as a security guard at Rivergate Medical Center in Montana Ridge, a quiet American town where everybody knew everybody. My job wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. My wife Hannah worked in a bakery, and we did our best to give our 2 kids, Brooklyn 8 and Cole 5, a normal life. Money was tight. Bills piled up. Kids never complained. But I could see it. They wanted things, and I couldn't always give them. So when Black Friday came around and Hillstone Mall announced huge discounts, it felt like a chance. Maybe this year I'd get a couple of gifts the kids would remember. Maybe this year I'd feel like a good dad. But the day didn't start like I imagined. We reached the mall at 6:20 a.m. It wasn't just crowded, it was chaos. People were screaming, running, pushing carts like they were chariots. The parking lot looked like a battlefield. "Daddy, can I get the hoverboard?" Brooklyn shouted. "And I want the robot dinosaur," Cole echoed. Baby, let's stick together, Hannah said, already overwhelmed. I forced a smile. Whatever you two want, we'll see. Just don't wander. But of course they did. Every few minutes one kid saw a toy, ran somewhere, one of us chased after them. Meanwhile, people cursed, shoved, shouted. A woman bumped Hannah hard with her cart. "Watch where you're going, lady," Hannah snapped. "You ran into me." The woman yelled something else. I dragged my wife away before things escalated. It was not a happy family moment. It was survival. We grabbed gifts after struggling for an hour. A TV, toys, kitchen mixer. Standing in the checkout line took another 55 minutes. At 1 p.m., we finally pushed our cart out, exhausted, sweaty, angry. "Next year we're ordering online," Hannah said. "No, next year we're staying home," I replied. We laughed, the tired kind of laugh. By the time we got home and unloaded the car, it was 3:40 p.m. All I wanted was a shower and a nap. That's when my phone buzzed. "Need you to fill in tonight," Carlos called out. "Night shift starts at 6. I stared at the screen in disbelief. "Are you kidding me?" I whispered. Hannah looked at me, saw my face fall. "They're making you go in?" I nodded, furious but helpless. "Yeah. You need rest," she argued. "Tell them." "I can't lose hours," I cut her off softly. "Rent's due." She didn't answer. She just hugged me. I wanted that moment to last. But I left at 5:15 p.m. driving toward the hospital. To get to work, I had to pass Hillstone Mall again. 12 hours earlier, it had been a war zone. But now, pitch black parking lot, no cars, lights off, silent. Just as I reached the mall exit, the light turned red. That's when I saw her, a woman standing alone near the sidewalk corner. Old, maybe mid-60s, thin, hair wild like she cut it with kitchen scissors. Wearing a tiny dress that no one her age, or maybe any age, should wear in 30-degree weather. She kept twitching her head and sniffing like she was smelling the air. She noticed my car. Her eyes widened. Then she waved. Not a friendly wave, a beckoning wave, like she wanted me to come over. Everything in me screamed drive away, but then something struck me. A memory of my mother. Before she died, she used to wander at night when her Alzheimer's got worse. People overlooked her because she looked unusual. What if this woman was just lost? Maybe freezing? Maybe confused? I wasn't a cop. Helping strangers wasn't my job. But I was human. The light turned green. I exhaled, then turned left toward her. She leaned in immediately as I rolled the window down. "Cold as hell out here," she said in a raspy voice. "You out looking for company, sweetheart?" I felt my heart drop. She wasn't lost. She was working. No, I'm good," I said. "I just thought maybe you needed—" She laughed sharply, not happy, almost mocking. "Oh, honey, I know what you thought. But you ain't out here for charity. Nobody stops for charity." I should have left then, but I didn't. Because she suddenly said, "You got family, right?" I froze. "How did you—" "You got that exhausted but desperate dad look," she replied. "You spent money today you don't really have for Christmas, I reckon." She smiled, a wrong smile. "Now you're thinking about how you're gonna make it all back." Goosebumps crawled over me. "How do you know that?" She tapped her temple. "I read people. Always have." I hated that she was right. It made me feel exposed. Before I could answer, she said, "I can give you a deal tonight that'll fix everything." "What deal?" I asked cautiously. "Black Friday deal," she whispered. "Not the kind you find in stores, the kind that changes your life." I laughed nervously. "Yeah, I'm not interested in anything." She cut me off. "It's not sex." That startled me. "What is it then?" I asked. She leaned closer, voice low. "I'm good at one thing. Finding the ones who don't belong here. The ones that make life worse for the rest of you." I shook my head. "Lady, I have no idea what you're talking about." "You ever wish someone would disappear?" she asked. My blood went cold. "What?" She smiled like the devil himself borrowed her body. "You bring me a name. I make it so they ain't breathing by sunrise. I stared at her, stunned. I'm not. That's crazy. She tapped the side of my car door. $50. Flat. My chest tightened. You're joking. Her eyes had no humor. You think you're the first dad who broke inside trying to hold everything together? You think you're the first who wished someone would vanish? Boss, landlord, ex-bully, whoever. No, I swallowed. I don't want anybody dead. She pointed to my dashboard photo, my wife and kids. You sure? Something snapped inside me. Back away from my car, now! For the first time, she looked nervous. You're making a mistake saying no, she muttered. I drove off. She screamed after me on something I couldn't hear, but it sounded angry. I arrived at the hospital shaking. I kept replaying her words. What if she wasn't joking? What if she was insane or dangerous? I tried to distract myself doing routine patrols, checking doors, elevators, staircases. Then the hospital radio crackled. Security, respond to south entrance. Disturbance reported. I rushed there. An elderly man was banging on the locked glass door, shouting. My granddaughter, he cried. She works here. She didn't meet me. Something's wrong. A nurse ran to me. He's been looking for her for hours. His son dropped her off here for her shift, but she never came inside. Missing? On Black Friday. The name of the girl was Lena Barker. Something in my stomach twisted. I comforted the old man, called police, filled paperwork. Officers searched the hospital. No sign of her. At 12:47 a.m., they left to search outside. Meanwhile, I went to sit down, brain fried. I checked my phone. A voicemail from an unknown number. I played it. Static. Then a whisper. $50 is nothing for a life. I dropped the phone. My heartbeat kicked into overdrive. I didn't give her my number. I didn't tell her where I worked. How did she find me? At 1:29 a.m., another voicemail. This time a young girl crying, No, please, I want to go home. Mommy, please. Then a scream. Then silence. I nearly vomited. Did she? No. It had to be a prank, a coincidence, a wrong number. At 1:55 a.m., third voicemail, just 4 words. She didn't belong here. I couldn't sit anymore. I left the hospital and drove straight to the mall. The parking lot looked dead. But then I saw it. A small light in the distance, not from the mall, from a maintenance door behind the building. I left my car, heart pounding, and walked toward it. I prayed to God I wouldn't find anything, but I found something. A phone, a name tag, bloodstains on the concrete. Lena Barker. I staggered backward, choking on air. Then I heard it, faint humming, a woman's voice, coming from inside the maintenance hall. I pushed the heavy door open. The humming got louder. It was her, the woman from the parking lot, sitting on the floor, face splattered with something dark, rocking a body in her lap, a small body. Lena. Dead. I couldn't scream, my throat locked. The woman didn't blink, she didn't cry, she just stroked the girl's hair. She was trouble, she whispered. I fixed it. Something in my brain broke. I screamed, charged at her, pinned her to the wall. Why? Why did you do this? Her face twisted into a grin. You wished for a better life, didn't you? She got in your way. I don't even know her, I yelled. She laughed, full belly laugh like she heard the best joke in the world. You don't get it, she said. People don't need a reason to want someone gone. Most folks don't even know the stranger that ruins their life. But I can see it. I can smell it. You're insane, I roared. She leaned closer, struggling to breathe. You think I need $50? She hissed. I only need permission. I punched her, hard enough to knock her out. I called the police. I stayed with her until they arrived. They took her away. They found the girl's body. They searched the building. They discovered 3 more missing persons. She had been doing this for years. She was sentenced to life. But that's not the end. A psychologist visited her, part of the legal process. He later asked me a question that haunts me more than anything the woman ever said. He said, She claims she never kills anyone unless a person allows it by wanting someone gone. She says you're her first client who didn't pay. Do you recall ever wishing that a stranger, even for a split second, didn't exist? I froze, because earlier that Black Friday when the woman in the store bumped into Hannah, I remembered thinking, people like her shouldn't exist. I didn't mean it. I didn't say it out loud. I didn't pay anyone, but maybe she heard it. Since that night, I look at every angry thought differently. Every time I curse someone under my breath, I get terrified that somewhere, in some alley, some street, some dark corner, that woman is listening again. Because 2 months later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, no name, just one sentence. I don't need to be free to hear you. I burned the letter, but I know she's not lying. Every Black Friday since, I don't sleep. I don't speak. I don't even think. Because I'm scared the next person she kills might be someone I unknowingly wished away. I never realized how one single morning could flip a person's entire life upside down. Thanksgiving had always been my favorite time of the year. Warmth, food, family, and the illusion that everything was okay even when it wasn't. But this year was different. This year felt like sitting at a dinner table with a ghost. My older brother Aaron, the one who could make anyone laugh, the one who kept our family connected, had been gone for a year. A stupid construction accident took him away just when life was finally starting to make sense for him. And ever since, my family had become a room filled with people pretending they weren't drowning. Thanksgiving dinner was quiet, way too quiet. Everyone was trying to smile, trying to laugh, trying to look normal. But every plate on that table was heavy with memories nobody wanted to bring up. And then, breaking the silence in the most unexpected and ridiculous way possible, my girlfriend Lynn said, "So, I was thinking maybe we could go Black Friday shopping in the morning. There's that Dyson hair thing I really want before it sells out." The room froze for a second. It was like playing an emotional Jenga tower, and Lynn accidentally pulled the most risky block. I stared at my plate and muttered, exhausted, "Seriously? Tomorrow? I don't want to deal with that crap this year." My mom instantly jumped in, desperate to avoid conflict. "Sweetheart, let her enjoy. It'll be good for you too. You need a change." Lynn bit her lip, embarrassed by my tone. "I don't want to go alone. Crowds make me anxious. I just really want you with me, please." I wanted to say no again. God, I wanted to. But the guilt of everything, Aaron's death, my family drifting, my own emotional shutdown, pushed out the word, "Fine, we'll go." Dinner continued, but the tension sat between us until we left. That night I barely slept. I wasn't ready for the chaos of crowds, noise, panic, or pretending to be okay. I missed the way life used to feel when Aaron was still around. 5:05 a.m. Black Friday morning. Lynn was already dressed when I walked into the kitchen. She looked tired but excited, like she was forcing joy just to pull me out of the emotional pit I'd sunk into. As we drove toward Mapleton Walmart Supercenter, neither of us spoke for a while. Eventually she whispered, "You sure you're okay?" "Just tired." "Are you mad at me for asking?" "No. I want to be with you, that's why I'm going." She smiled, but there was caution behind it. Like she was afraid one wrong word might break me. A mile out, traffic was already backed up. "Wow," Lynn whispered. The closer we got, the louder the world seemed. Yelling in the distance, carts slamming, horns honking. When we turned into the lot, it was like entering a war zone. People were running, actually running, toward the doors. Trucks were cutting people off, SUVs were blocking others in, and adults were screaming like toddlers having tantrums. "What the hell did we just walk into?" I muttered. Lynn squeezed my hand, scared. "It'll be better inside, right?" "It has to be." I didn't answer. I didn't know. 22 minutes searching for a parking spot. Every lane we turned down was chaos. Cars waiting, cars fighting, people banging on windows. One guy literally smacked another man's hood and screamed, "Oh, try it again and I'll flatten your face." I shook my head in disbelief. Lynn tried to calm her voice as she said, "Maybe we should have come earlier. Everyone online said the crowds get insane." I snapped without thinking. "Lynn, can you not? You begged me to do this and now it's suddenly my fault too?" Her face fell. The moment the words left my mouth, I hated myself for them. I reached for her hand. "I'm sorry, this whole thing is just getting to me." She nodded quietly. "I don't know. I get it. I'm sorry too." The parking space incident. Finally, salvation. A minivan was backing out near the left aisle. I slowed, giving them room. Lynn whispered, "Yes, please, just take this one, please." The second the minivan pulled out completely, I pressed the gas. And from the other side of the aisle, a dark blue Chevy Malibu surged in toward the same spot. We were inches from hitting each other. Both cars halfway into the space. I rolled my window down. "Back up, man, I've been waiting here. I saw it first." The driver leaned forward. He looked mid-30s, a patchy beard, sharp jawline, and eyes that didn't look angry. They looked empty. His voice came out flat. "Move." "I'm not moving. I was waiting here. You nosed in last second." "Don't care," Lynn whispered urgently. "Sam, we should go. He doesn't look right." But the humiliation and adrenaline were already mixing in my blood. "No, I'm not letting some psycho bully us." The man smiled, a slow, twisted smile like someone who'd waited his whole life for someone to push back. Then he reached behind his seat, pulled out a trash bag, and hurled it at my windshield. Fast food wrappers, soda cups, grease splattered everywhere. Lynn gasped. "Hey, stop! What is wrong with you?" I snapped. I grabbed my half-finished iced tea from the cup holder and threw it at his windshield. The man froze. He got out of his car, slowly, calmly. He walked to his trunk, lifted it, and pulled out a black aluminum baseball bat. Lynn screamed, "Sam, reverse! Sam, go now!" I slammed the gear into reverse, but he was already climbing onto my hood. His face was inches from the glass. He looked straight into my eyes and swung. Crack. The windshield caved in. Crack, crack, crack. Shards rained onto our seats. Lynn was crying hysterically, covering her face, begging him to stop. My hands were shaking. I kicked the gas in panic. Reversing so fast, the man slid off the hood and hit the pavement. I threw it into drive. He scrambled to stand, but I had already accelerated. He jumped aside, barely avoiding being run over. My bumper clipped the rear of his Malibu. One tail light shattered. We tore out of the parking lot like our lives depended on it. Police later. We parked 2 blocks away. Lynn was shaking uncontrollably, hyperventilating. I called the police. They searched the lot, but the man and his Chevy Malibu were long gone. The officer wrote notes, looked at our windshield, then said heavily, "This wasn't road rage. This guy didn't care who was watching. He was calm until you pushed back. That's the kind you watch for." Lynn could barely breathe. "We're safe, right?" The officer didn't answer at first. "If he came after you once, and he thinks you owe him a win, don't underestimate a man who needs revenge more than reason." Those words replayed in my head like a curse. 2 days later, I couldn't sleep, couldn't relax, couldn't stop playing that moment in my head. The man's eyes staring through the windshield, the bat coming down, the sound of Lynn crying. And then things started happening. A folded note on our porch. "You took something of mine. I'll take something of yours." No signature, no threats beyond the words, just the promise of chaos. Lynn begged to leave town. I called the police again. They shrugged. "No threats of physical harm, nothing we can act on." We stayed with my parents for a while, until one night I woke up to the smell of smoke, not fire, rubber, car tires. I rushed outside, and there on the street sat a dark blue Chevy Malibu, engine running, headlights off. The silhouette of a man was sitting still in the driver's seat, staring at the house. He didn't move when he saw me. He didn't speak. He didn't drive away. He just waited. like a hunter waiting for the next step from his prey. My dad called the cops. As soon as the sirens got close, the Malibu drove away slowly, calmly, like the man wasn't afraid of anything or anyone. The police arrived, but they were too late. The final night. We decided to leave town the next morning. No more waiting to be hunted. We packed everything we could into the car at night. We were leaving at sunrise, but at 2:13 a.m. something shattered in the backyard. I grabbed a baseball bat of my own. My hands were shaking. Lynn whispered, "Don't go out there. Please don't leave me." And for the first time, I listened to her. We locked the bedroom door. I pushed furniture against it. We stayed quiet. And then came the sound. Footsteps in the hallway. Slow, calculated, like someone enjoying the anticipation. The doorknob twitched. Lynn began sobbing quietly. The footsteps walked away. Silence. Then a voice, whispered just loud enough through the door to hear, "I told you, I'll take something of yours." The front door opened a minute later, then closed. That was it. He left. But not alone. We never saw Lynn again. There was no forced entry, no struggle, no fingerprints, no noise, nothing. The detective said, "Someone she trusted could have lured her out. It happens more than you think." I know the truth. That man wasn't interested in killing us that night. He was taking turns. Not revenge, not anger, ownership. And sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet, I swear I still hear the bat tap the floor outside my bedroom door, like he's waiting for his turn again. Because people obsessed with revenge don't need a reason. They just need a target.